Hey guys, James here at Jarashut. I've got something a bit different for you here. I'm going to choose horror directors or directors that have worked in horror that I really respect and go through their whole film career and just choose one movie that I think is their best. It's actually quite hard when you sit down and try and think. And yeah, I'd like to see what other people think and what their lists are, because it'd be quite interesting. But first up, we've got Tobe Hooper, and he of course done the first two Texas Chainsaw movies. We've got Funhouse, Eaten Alive. He's still working in horror today, although he's not as good as he used to be, but this one's a bit of a no-brainer. I've chosen the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie from 1974. I love this film. Everything about it is totally perfect to me. The style, the atmosphere, the characters, the killer, the whole concept that there's this kind of family out in the middle of nowhere abducting people and killing them, and they're kind of primitive in a way, and it's just really unnerving stuff really, and the way it's shot with that whole documentary feel to it really lends to the film and makes it a really strong experience. So if you haven't seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I don't know what's wrong with you, because it's one of the best. So check out Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's why I've chosen it for Tobe Hooper. Love the movie, everything about it. So Tobe Hooper, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Next up, we've got David Cronenberg, a Canadian horror director, and I think out of all the horror directors, he's probably one of the most consistent. All his movies are really good. He's done Rabid, Shivers, The Fly, Videodrome, Dead Ringers, heaps of other movies, Naked Lunch, so I could keep going on and on. The film I chose for him is Videodrome. I was kind of tossing up between two. I chose Videodrome because I think it best exemplifies his directorial style and the kind of things he's known for, his body horror, virus horror kind of thing he's got. This one factors in technology into it, so it's really interesting in that respect, and it's got some nice parts to it, really memorable, interesting storyline, and how it develops kind of this puzzle that's slowly being put together, and it's kind of a bit of a mind fuck when you're watching it. But yeah, really good movie, and I think it's his best work. I was considering this or The Fly. I really love The Fly, but I went Videodrome. So Videodrome for David Cronenberg. Next up, we've got George A. Romero. This was very hard because, of course, he's got the Dead movies, foremost among which the big three: Night of the Living Dead, Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead. He's also got the Crazies and Martin and Creepshow, so it was extremely hard just choosing one movie. But I did choose a Dead movie, and it's my favourite one, so Day of the Dead. This was the last Dead movie of his that I saw, but it impressed me the most. I love the gore and the setting, how it's all underground, very paranoia filled. You're trapped in this claustrophobic location with all these ragtag bunch of characters. You've got this complete bastard as the main character you love to hate, and yeah, character development's good for the other characters. And I like the concept of Bub and that whole element to the story where, you know, they're playing God and all that kind of thing. And the scenes of the zombies overrunning the place and the blood and the gore is just beyond, you know, beyond good. So that's why I've chosen Day of the Dead for George Romero. Next up, we've got Larry Cohen. He's more or less known, but I think he's totally up there with all the other directors. He's done Cue the Winged Serpent, It's Alive, God Told Me To, lots of other films, special effects, but I've chosen God Told Me To. The reason I've chosen this one, or God Told Me To Kill, it's from 1976. The reason I chose this one is because I love the whole concept of the story, where there's this kind of messiah-like figure that's kind of is presumed to have come to Earth, and there's all these people flocking around him that are drawn to him, and they often commit suicide, and before they do they say, God told me to, because they consider him God. So just a really interesting movie, and Larry Cohen does a lot of screenplay, so the script and everything about it, like that kind of thing, the pacing is really well done, and the direction is really strong. Concept is a great foundation for a movie, and it is a great movie, so that's why I've chosen God Told Me To for Larry Cohen. Next up, we've got Mario Bava, and his movie, it's hard to kind of encapsulate in a few words, but he's done so many films. He's very important in the horror world. He's done Black Sunday, Black Sabbath, Blood and Black Lace, Twitch of the Death Nerve, Kill Baby Kill, Shock. Just too many to list really, and it was really hard choosing just one, but I've went with Black Sunday. This is the Australian box set, which the film's in here. I've chosen Black Sunday because of the atmosphere. It's very thick in its gothic approach, very brooding and yeah, just heavy on atmosphere. and kind of like a Hammer movie or an Amicus film. So I love that aspect to it. Also the European setting with castles and bats and Barbara Steele, and the black and white photography and the lighting and, you know, all the contrast he manages to get. The theatrical acting. I just love everything about Black Sunday, and it was the first movie of his that I saw, so that's why I've chosen Black Sunday from 1963. So, sorry, 1960. So yeah, Black Sunday for Mario Bava. It was really hard with him. Next up, we've got Lucio Fulci. Again, very hard because he's got a lot of films out there. The Beyond, City of the Living Dead, Zombie 2, House by the Cemetery, New York Ripper, Don't Torture a Duckling. The movie I've chosen though is Zombie or Zombie 2 from 1979. I chose this one because I find this movie completely perfect for what it is. It gets that whole cheesy, B-grade, actiony horror thing totally right. It's just entertainment from beginning to end. The zombies look really, really cool in this too. I love the makeup effects, and I love the fact that there's a fat zombie, because you never see fat zombies in movies, but there's a fat zombie. I think there's one in the Night of the Living Dead remake, but anyway, yeah, I love that whole thing, the voodoo element to it, and the way Lucio Fulci films it. It's just great stuff, a lot of gore and very, very fun. So I think this is his best movie, Zombie 2. Next up, we've got Wes Craven. And this one was hard for different reasons, because I do like Wes Craven, but I think his movies are all on par. There's no real exceptional movie in his career for me. Don't shoot me for that, but yeah, so it was kind of hard for me to choose Wes Craven, but I've chosen Nightmare on Elm Street simply for the concept. The concept, someone can come into your dreams and kill you, I think is a very scary thought, and very imaginative, and proved very successful because the movie's kind of spawned its franchise and everyone knows it now. Also, I do like how it's filmed. I like Freddy Krueger. He's very, very memorable with the glove and his hat and everything, and his burned face. So I think Wes Craven knew what he was doing in this one, and he pulled it off. So Nightmare on Elm Street, I think, is very impressive for its concept, and it does have some nice slasher elements to it. So yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street for Wes Craven. Next up, we've got Stuart Gordon. Stuart Gordon done, of course, Re-Animator, From Beyond, Dolls, Castle Freak. This one's a no-brainer. Again, I've chosen Re-Animator from 1985. First film of his I saw. I love the blend of comedy and horror in this. It gets the balance totally right. Very funny, also very horrific at times. It's got a great script, great characters. So it's just a really superb movie, and some of the set pieces and all that kind of thing are so memorable. You can recall the scenes after watching it, you know, years and years later. So that's the mark of a really good film if you can do that. So Re-Animator. Next up, we've got Dario Argento. Extremely hard again because he's got so many movies: Tenebrae, Suspiria, Deep Red, Opera, Phenomena. But I've chosen Suspiria, a bit of a no-brainer maybe again. I love this one for the atmosphere and the colours and the lighting and the vividness of the picture. It's so beautiful when you watch it, but at the same time so horrific, and all this blood's spraying across the screen and women are being killed. But it's just, I just love that element to his movies, the visual element. Also the soundtrack is superb. You're never going to get it out of your head. The whole supernatural thing too, kind of set in Europe in this old dance academy and the witches and all that kind of thing, and it kind of has a very antique old style to it too, so I love that about it, and I think Suspiria is his best movie, so yeah. Next up, we've got John Carpenter, one of the most famous directors, and just a superb director, and supremely hard choosing a movie from his career. We've got Halloween, The Thing, Prince of Darkness, They Lived, but I've went with The Thing. I think that's his best movie. I love the atmosphere and the whole story, the kind of concept that this alien creature can morph itself into other things, and it's kind of this invisible force throughout the film that you can't really get away from because you don't know where it is. I love that idea, so that's why I've chosen The Thing, and it's really hard, but yeah, The Thing. Lastly, we've got Bob Clark, and he doesn't really do a lot of horror movies, but I think he's a great horror director. He's done Black Christmas, Deathdream, Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things, and I've chosen Deathdream because I think that's heads and tails above Black Christmas. I love the whole acting style in this, and the story where this vet's coming back from Vietnam, and he was pronounced dead, but he's returned home and he's seemingly normal, but there's something changed about him. He's a bit more quiet, and as the movie progresses, he kind of starts to show what's happened to him. So very eerie and creepy, great script, great acting, and a great film. So that's my list. You can make your own if you'd like, but you can just tell me with a comment. So thanks for watching, and Jarashut out.